We are Ole Miss Rebel. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problem.
Welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. Now we're going to do things a little different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics for the fan, by the fan, and of the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. Yeah, right now. The POMcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. To what we call Ole Miss athletics. The weird thing is the Wirecast updated, so everything's in a little different spot than I'm used to. So bear with me today. Today appears like it's going to be. Want to vacation in Central Florida? It will help to have a local on the ground, and it's not going to cost you any money extra because you can get basically the same price that is available online. So give them a call at 1-800 Positively Ole Miss sent you over. Also, if you want to watch the show, we're available on Twitter at The Stephen Willis and at The Rebel Walk. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast, POMcast. YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. Hit subscribe, hit the bell. You'll not only know that we're streaming, you'll know what we're streaming about. The notification system for YouTube is absolutely the best one. And we're on Twitch, all one word, Cloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and Pandora. We're also on smaller podcatchers, but we would be here all day listing those all. So thank you very much for joining us. We can just ignore list season. List season is absolutely gone, but we can move into talking season, which is going to move into camp, which is going to move into football. We're one step closer. And it starts with SEC meet. It's going to start, fairly soon if you're catching the live stream right now. But it's going to be really great. But before we get started and all that, I do want to tell you, drop that down a little bit, that our graphics work finally came back and is done. I'm going to reveal to y'all the top two. As you can see on our avatars and all that, you can. I'm very excited about those marks. I forgot to add audio over to that, so I was talking that whole time. Like I said, Wirecast updated. There's a little bit different. It's permeating all through our social media, and it's going to eventually hit the actual media that we're putting out. And the second mark, because I messed up last time. So, but this is the mark that came in second. This is we like it. It's good. We own it, and we are going to find a use for it. I don't know exactly what that would look like, but I like the way that one came out and like really what it looked like. One was that one. That is the mark that won the graphics competition. That's the one we're going to use. It's going to show up in different places along with the other mark. So we're going to get to that. So we're really excited about that. We really are. And thank you very much for tuning in for Positively Ole Miss and all of our just extreme growth over the last 3 months. Thank you very much. We're going to probably break the monthly record for podcasts and a monthly thing. So we could set something that's going to be extremely hard to break, but we think that every month and about a week ahead of time, that record is getting broken. So thank you very much for that. We're growing just by leaps and bounds. Tomorrow, Best in the West. So we're going to SEC Western Division. We're also going to try and hit up Evie Van Pelt with a reaction LSU preview. We had to delay it on Friday, so it got delayed to Wednesday. And SEC After Dark is that night, which we're going to talk about really the first 3 days of media days. Thursday, Rebel benefit of what we're doing and everything being on demand. We reserve the right to move them. But the first three, I imagine, are pretty set to where they're going to be. About 8. We're going to a recruiting show on Thursday. We're also putting together a baseball show. We're going to full-time baseball it. And we're going to have Rebel Inc. Should be happy that he does want to be. So we can keep that going during the off season, and that way potentially wasting a little time talking Disney. For the travel and cruise world people, and I just enjoy talking Disney. So that is what we kind of want to really jump into gear and get this done, and figure out a way to provide you the most amount of content possible for the least amount of money possible, which is free. Cast every weekday at 10 Central, 11 Eastern, and it's going to be a good time. So I really do appreciate you guys listening to everything we do. All right, talking season that have the most laziest takes possible and asking the silliest questions. And there will be a line of questions dealing with COVID and everything else. It's almost in their comeback. And there's 8 coaches making their, let's say, current school debut, because Lane Kiffin actually was at Media Days with Tennessee, but his debut at Ole Miss at Media Days will be this year. So that's 8 coaches. That's over half the league. Questions at South Carolina, such as, what are you going to run? And that's literally the question. What are you going to do? Because actually listed any type of a system. So it's because of Luke Doty taking the snaps and winning out, being in more of a running threat. So I'm interested to see what South Carolina like. They have talent on that side of the ball. Will Muschamp has basically spent 4 years building it to the detriment of the offense. LSU, but I could see the other way. Now they've lost big time players on the outside, and Butte is an excellent receiver, but like a 6-6, 7-5, 8-4 team, somewhere in there. But I want to see that quarterback competition and what it looks like, and more importantly, how it gets handled. Because if Max Johnson, because he got better, after it's over, you might Wally Pip him if you're not careful. But that could affect the locker room, which everybody knows that LSU's locker room essentially is like a sideshow at this point. So, podcast. Is Dan Mullen going to force him to run the Kyle Trask offense, or is he going to set up a Nick Fitzgerald, early Dak Prescott, Chris Relf offense? Florida is going. The idea is it's going to morph into something else. This is going to be a very important year for Todd Grant, more of a slow burn, which means the defense is going to come into a lot more focus. It could be a situation where if Emory Jones doesn't make it, Todd Grantham has to go. Offensively for the Florida Gators, you're not going to see the Kyle Trask offense. And if you do, that's a major problem as well, because that's the square peg round hole that we've been talking about, and I don't expect Emory Jones to really run that. But I do expect him to run the old pass to be better than we think they are. I've seen them picked anywhere from second to fourth in the East. They're probably going to finish in there. Depending on how they use Emory Jones is going to depend on where they land. Because Missouri, with Connor Bazelak and the guys we're going to talk, can just literally sling the ball. Kentucky, I want to see what this new offense looks like. Because when Tommy Tuberville was at Auburn, let's just put it like this. There was a stretch of about 3 years that Tommy Tuberville changed his offense to Tony Franklin and went to the spread. It was relevant. He saw where college football was going. Makes sense. But he had the personnel for the ground who the same thing happened. He went up, won a national championship, running the spread. They had the spread offense because it takes a couple of years to recruit to it and build to it. But after a little while, because of his personnel, he wanted to run old style offense. We'll just say old man football, but so dealing with offenses, I'm very, very skeptical whenever a scheme change happens from one year to the next. You can get around the quarterback play a little bit with a solid scheme that matches the rest of your personnel. You can get around it a little bit if you have a quarterback, and to see what Florida will look like with a scheme change. Did they recruit to the Kyle Trask system? Did they recruit to the power spread system? They thought after 2019 they were going to keep clicking, running the Joe Brady offense. They even set it up to where, I forget what they were, but they didn't go to a bowl game. And this year they're going to try and do it again. So are they trying to recruit players for the other system to the team? Clyde Edwards-Helaire? And the answer is yes, he absolutely was. He Swiss Army knifed that team to death and made them from very good to unstoppable. That's his time. If you have any questions and want to hear a little bit more about the SEC East tonight, Beast of the East with Corey Burton and Craig Ladd will appear on this channel right here. And Jake Thomas, little Arkansas and Alabama flavor with the SEC West, and they're going to talk about what's going on with all those teams. So we got a lot of stuff coming up this week, with interview, a little bit more media days, and specifically a prediction for Ole Miss in media days. So stick around. All right, welcome back. Welcome. Evelyn and her team do a fantastic job providing experts for all the sports out there with Ole Miss sports, and best of all, it's free. Doesn't cost you any money. All that it costs you is your time, and boy, oh boy, is so nice. So they do a fantastic job. That is the rebelwalk.com. Again, go over there and tell them I sent you, the rebelwalk.com. Yes. So in the first segment, we talked a little bit about SEC media. So it's first look at Shane Beamer and a couple of other coaches that we've all talked to before. So that's that. Now, to say, from Matt Corral and Jalen Jones to Lane Kiffin, what are we looking at? I'm looking... he's going to get a ton of defensive questions probably because they were at the end of the season, could have started the beginning of the season, other than the lack of film, the lack of personnel. Everything was a little bit differently done because of the pandemic. You had no spring, you had no fall camp. You lost all those many, many hours of film, and once that film got caught up, you were able to make informed decisions like you normally would. So by the middle of the season, it was a little bit different. So that is my thoughts on the defense. That's Corey's thoughts as well. And I haven't asked Kevin Bohannon about it, but I'm sure he would say the same as well. So it's a hefty number of coaches that we have on this channel. But I'm looking forward to that. The newcomers on defense, people are not going to realize that even though just about everybody came back, I mean, Ryder Anderson and Jacquez Jones transferred out, that's fine. But newcomers like Chance Campbell, a full season of Otis Reese, Jacob Springer. I'm looking forward to Jake Springer. I'm looking forward to the new guys up front, the Isaiah Iton, the Jamon Gordon, the Tywan Malone up front. I'm looking forward to the looks that they can build on that defense. I'm looking forward to Sam Williams. I'm looking forward to all kinds of things defensively. I want to see how they alternate between Sam Williams and one of the linebacker or one of the safeties like Otis Reese or Jake Springer, and on the other side bring down the other box safety, and all of a sudden you have three guys that could blitz, there are no guys that could blitz, and all of a sudden you have flexibility with your defense. All of a sudden it becomes harder to think. And these read offenses that you see in college football, it becomes less likely that you can predict where they're going to be. Which that's the purpose of college football. Anytime you deal with them, any type of an option, going back to the original triple option back in the 70s, good grief, that was 45 years ago. If you can't predict where that defensive player is going to be, they're going to cause a little bit of problems for you. So with our defense, we're not designed to be a suffocating defense like Kirby. We're designed to be a big play defense. We want to make explosives, lost yardage, turnovers. Make it, instead of when it was 2nd and 4, all of a sudden it's 3rd and 11. That is the path that we're going to take with that. And Sam Williams, Jake Springer, and Otis Reese provides a little bit of a shell. And now you can protect yourself a little bit by the length that we're lining up on the outside in the secondary, and moving like Keydron Smith and A.J. Finley to free safety and not asking them to be as much of a box safety. There you go. You putting Chance Campbell at linebacker. He's a very athletic linebacker. People look at him and they assume that, typical Big Ten plodding big guy like an Iowa guy from 1997. He's not really that type of a player. He's an athletic guy. He was a 2 or 3 star coming out of high school, but he was recruited by DJ Durkin for this system and eventually transferred. I'm looking at the other linebacker, Lakia Henry, Momo Sanogo, and what they can do. I do not know who's going to play the Mike. I do not know who is going to play the Will. I am curious to hear about that. And like I said, I'm curious to hear about the new guys on the defensive front for Ole Miss, the defensive tackles, and T. Tisdale, those guys, Quentin Bivens. Just give me an update on them. Because Quentin Bivens would be an excellent depth piece. He's probably not a starter, but he can give you 10 to 15 snaps a game at a very high level. So defensively, I'm excited about this defense. I anticipate a ton of cloud coverage. I anticipate a bunch of blitzing. There's a lot that they can do, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'm going to give you a couple of minutes back today. Tomorrow, like I said, Ole Miss takes the stage. I think they're there from 1 to 4. Hopefully after it's over, we can get with Ole Miss Evie, and we can talk a little bit reaction about what is going on. So thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. Tonight, Beast of the East, talking all about SEC Media Days and these storylines around the conference. Until then, hotty toddy.